welcome back. Now, the political turmoil in Bangladesh is spilling into Indian politics. After protesters stormed into Sheikh Hasina's residence and forced her to flee the country, the opposition in India are now drawing an India-Bangladesh link. Congress leader Salman Khurshid, during a book launch, hinted at the possibility of similar anti-government protests in India to those in Bangladesh. Another Congress leader, Sajjan Verma, is heard saying that protesters will soon enter Prime Minister Modi's house and capture it like they did with Bangladesh Prime Minister. Mehbooba Mufti is also echoing Congress's view, saying what happened in Bangladesh is a lesson for India. The Bharatiya Janata Party has accused the opposition of undermining Bharat's democratic institution. But can opposition compare India and Bangladesh? We'll draw out those differences for you. In Bangladesh, the opposition has boycotted the 2024 elections, while in India, democracy is deeply rooted with opposition participation and no proven instances of poll rigging. In Bangladesh, there's a history of army's interference and a number of coups, while in India, India's military is apolitical. Bangladesh has of late become a playing field between the United States and China, while India has not let foreign powers dictate terms or influence domestic matters. And that's what brings us to the question we are probing tonight on the India-Bangladesh analogy. Is opposition guilty of fear-mongering?
What's happening in Bangladesh can happen here. It's just that Bangladesh is a concentration of much that we have in our country.
याद रखना नरेंद्र मोदी जी, एक दिन ये जनता जितने सड़क पे हिलोरे ले रही है, एक दिन तुम्हारी गलत नीतियों से तुम्हारे प्रधानमंत्री निवास में घुस जाएगी, कब्जा कर लेगी।
बांग्लादेश में हो रहा है या हुआ है, उससे मुझे लगता है खासकर हमारे मुल्क को सबक सीखना चाहिए।
Congress party, in the all-party meeting itself, our leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi ji, has expressed that Congress party stands with the government of India, and we all feel that there should be no politics into it, and we all should stand with the government of India in this thing.
This is yet another instance of Congress party putting Rajniti over Rashtra. Is Salman Khursheed, who compared Hindutva with ISIS and Boko Haram, trying to say that Indian democratic institutions are so weak?
Let me introduce our esteemed panelists. Shaina NC, who's the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Kamru Chaudhary, political analyst, and Major General A.K. Sivach, who's a defense and international affairs expert. All are joining me. Kamru Chaudhary, at a time when Salman Khursheed ought to be examining the anti-India and anti-Hindu sentiment within Bangladesh, one that is known to all of international media as well, he's talking about bringing anarchy to India?
Well, now, whether the events which are happening in Bangladesh can happen in India is of course debatable. But certainly the situation or the underlying factors leading to the situation in Bangladesh, I feel personally, certainly exists in India. With opposition around 150 MPs being chucked out of the parliament to pass out the bills, with successive state governments, be it the Assam government, be it the Uttarakhand government or the Uttar Pradesh government, trying to bulldoze their own policies through the bulldozer Raj or bringing in legislation which are detrimental to a particular section of the society. I believe there is an underlying in the country.
But Kamru Chaudhary, we see that happening in opposition-ruled states all the time in their state assemblies as well. And isn't that also democracy when you in fact see opposition being clamped down on in the Karnataka assembly or even in Tamil Nadu's assembly?
Of course, I denounce any type of bulldozing politics that the government in power can do against the opposition of the country. But it was unprecedented that you passed some bills in the parliament during the last Lok Sabha, wherein 150 MPs were just simply chucked out of the parliament. Main principal opposition's leader Rahul Gandhi was disqualified. Even these are all some underlying factor, but the broader underlying factor that we all are observing is the huge unemployment crisis in the country, the price rise in the country, and the draconian laws that Modi government seeks to implement with only one agenda in mind. And that agenda is not hidden with anybody, not with Akansha, nor with me, or not with any of our countrymen. People are rejoicing that Modi government is teaching a particular community as lesson. This is the underlying factors that we all need to be worried about. Be it the Shine Bagh episode of 2020 or be it the farmers' agitation, we all know, or in very recently, the wrestlers, the treatment meted out to the wrestlers of our country. So these are all some incidents that I'm saying, and Salman Khursheed's statement is not out of context in comparison to what is happening to, let's say, for example, Umar Khalid, who is inside the jail for the last 1500 days without even a chance of recourse. Two chief ministers have been sent to behind bars.
Being
Kejriwal is still behind bars. You might debate. You might
but
debate that
let's not talk
Akansha.
about those who have been in fact proven on corruption charges, and you know, let's not bring in them as analogies to in fact make a point when it comes to throttling freedom of speech or throttling dissent. But I'm going to quickly bring in China and see on that note, China, if we are talking about inflation, if we are talking about rising unemployment, the fact of the matter remains, are we also talking about bringing anarchy, vandalism and that kind of arson that we are seeing on the streets of Bangladesh now over to India because of whatever issues that our country is going through economically, ones that we've also seen happen at a global level? If there's inflation plaguing our country, it's plaguing the entire world.
So let's analyze Mr. Salman Khursheed's statement. He says there's something which is under surface. He says that, you know, India is under threat. Now, this is the same Congress party that has been unable to win a single election, and their frustration is so evident that they're talking about spreading anarchy and they're talking about these backdoor tactics. Please do understand that in India, we have never had any kind of army insurgency or any kind of coup as we have seen in Bangladesh. The issues there are quite different, and please, for those who are trying to destabilize India and spread these kind of conspiracy theories, they must understand that in India, democratic institutions are intact. For those who want violence, as they have seen in Bangladesh, in a country like Bharat, they really must introspect, because this is not a situation which is normal. This is an abnormal situation.
Right.
And how do you have an abnormal situation? You have it when there is no functioning of democratic processes, and in a democracy like India, where you have had elections and Prime Minister Modi come back with a third time historic victory, you cannot try and suggest that Bangladesh and India have any commonalities. So this political showdown, whether it escalates or not, who is spreading this kind of conspiracy is known to one and all. And the Congress party and the AAP party have nothing better to do.
Let me also bring in Major Sivaj. Major Sivaj, thank you so much for in fact awaiting your turn so patiently. But having said that, is it even a fair analogy to draw comparisons between India and Bangladesh, considering our democracy is truly diverse in nature? We respect the minorities in our country. Look at what's happening in minorities, not just Hindus, but even the Ahmadiyya Muslims to Buddhists and Christians, all are in fact scared for their lives as these riots go rampant. But having said that, the fact of the matter is that India has also been a voice to the global south. We are the ones who've been looking after these nations, whether it's a Sri Lanka, Nepal, or even a Bangladesh, Bhutan or Myanmar.
Absolutely, guys. See, Kansha, you cannot compare these countries of South Asia with as far as India is concerned. Because these are, it's not happening first time there, neither in Pakistan it has happened first time, nor it has been taken place in Bangladesh. After it got independence in 71, in 75 there was a coup, and against Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who got them independence, he fought a freedom struggle. Then again 1991 there was a coup against
All right, we seem to have lost Major General Sivaj's transmission over there. But let me quickly bring in the other guest, Kamru Chaudhary, who
No.
continues. All right, yes, please go ahead, Major General.
So what I was trying to convey is that the point is, as far as India is concerned, we are a dynamic country which has got a vibrant democracy. Here, the point is the elections are held very fair and free, and the economy of the country is doing extremely well. We are the largest country which has got the fastest growing economy.
True.
And we are the voice of global south. So I'm only saying, Alexa, no comparison between India and other countries, whether it is Pakistan, whether it is Bangladesh, and whether it is Nepal. Now, Bangladesh, you must understand, why has it happened? It has happened basically because Jamaat-e-Islami, which is a pro-Pakistan, which has taken a side of Pakistan in 71 war, is been a stooge of ISI. So it has been orchestrated. It is not that it has happened of its own. Bangladesh economy was doing extremely well, and Sheikh Hasina has brought its country from nowhere to somewhere. It was also the textile industry was doing extremely well. So the point today is that whatever has happened in Bangladesh is not the domestic, but it has got roots in ISI. It has also got roots in China, and America has also played a negative role.
All right.
Because US wanted a base there, which the national interest of Sheikh Hasina said no, and that's why in fact US was involved. So the point is, as far as India is concerned, it is the only country which has the most vibrant democracy. Imagine minorities. The Muslims were 15% when India got independent. They are 18%. In Bangladesh or in Pakistan, the Hindus were almost 22%. In Bangladesh, reduced to 7%.
True.
And in Pakistan, it is only 1%. So you cannot compare.
No, but that's the question I'm asking. Instead of, in fact, raising questions to the Bangladeshi army, to the new interim government which will be formed on the plight of the minorities, especially the Hindus there, the examination coming across from the Congress party is in fact shocking. You're talking about bringing a similar kind of civil disobedience, or rather writing to India. But I'm going to bring in Kamru Chaudhary. Kamru Chaudhary, it was Rahul Gandhi just days ago raising questions about how there is a possibility of a foreign intervention in the situation as far as Bangladesh is concerned. We all know that Bangladesh is also perhaps bearing the brunt of two global powers, namely the United States and China. But having said that, what is the responsibility of a Rahul Gandhi, who perhaps in March was not the leader of opposition back then, but bad-mouthing India? Let me quote him. In fact, he's gone on to talk about this on 31st of March itself, saying if BJP wins after match fixing and then changes constitution, then the country will be on fire. Remember what I said. Is that not a veiled threat?
No, Akansha, how you take it is your own prerogative, but the fact
No, how do we take it? Sajjan Verma today itself is saying हम प्रधानमंत्री के घर के अंदर घुस के ऐसे attacks होंगे. Is this, we are forgetting how the highest positions and authorities in the country are to be treated. How is one to make of such statements?
Akansha, for those who have seen the 1971 war or the role of Indira Gandhi, almost all of those Indians are missing Indira Gandhi as of today. A strong prime minister who divided East Pakistan and West Pakistan for only one reason. We cannot have a hostile neighbor along our eastern border. But today, because of the failed foreign policy diplomacy of the Narendra Modi government, we have got hostile neighbors on our east, west, on south, on north, in each and every, even a tiny island like Maldives is showing red eyes to us. This is the situation that we have been in.
But can you imagine a military coup? Can you imagine an attack coming in from China or even a Pakistan or a United States?
You must
Look at how far India has come.
Akansha, you must understand the geopolitical situation of entire Southeast Asia.
That's my domain, Kamru Chaudhary, and let me tell you that India's foreign policy has come a very long way in the last decade itself.
I understand you may always praise the foreign policy of the country. As an Indian,
yes,
I will also
we have
go
our
with my
imperfections. Yes, we do.
We have our imperfection, but as an Indian, I will go with what my government does with respect to the foreign policy. But I cannot be an ostrich with my eyes buried in the sand and say that, okay, everything is hunky-dory and there is no problem with us. Of course, we are committing harakiri on our foreign policy issues, be it the Palestine-Israel issue, siding with the Israel, be it the Russia or the Ukraine issue. we find ourselves
We've
isolated.
never completely sided
global
with Israel. We've also had,
No, we are doing
we've
32
also
billion
extended
dollars of
our
business with Israel.
sympathies. No,
Akansha, we are
Palestine
doing-
has also been very much a partner to India, and that is something that India continues to respect. But Shaina, I don't know where this is going right now. Important to highlight that.
Really? I mean, this is totally bizarre. This is totally bizarre. First, to compare India to Bangladesh in its essence is wrong. To say that the Prime Minister's house will be captured and spread these kind of conspiracy theories and spread anarchy, it shows you that they are only interested in their self goal. Because India has never been stronger, safer, more stable than it has been under the rule of Prime Minister Modi. Let's not forget Rahul Gandhi's comment on India on fire, where he said, just consider, you know, the situation of India's democracy being in threat, and this he said on the international platform. How can Rahul Gandhi make these kind of statements on an international platform? You are demeaning the very fabric of this vibrant democracy of ours. You talk about Bangladesh. Bangladesh has had this kind of insurgency in the past too. You have had the opposition boycott their elections in the past too. You have had a kind of situation which has been very, very subject to all
Shaina,
kinds
you know, on a day
of,
Vinesh Phogat has been
instability
disqualified. It is the wrestlers' protest that's being alluded to. The protests in Shaheen Bagh are being alluded to. It's also being alleged, as has been in the past, that this government is not tolerant towards dissent, and that the fact that there are many protesters from the Shaheen Bagh protests who continue to remain behind bars are only a living testimony of the tolerance levels of this governance, which is why perhaps those statements have been made.
Look, I will say on record, the minorities are more safe in India than any part of the world. And I completely agree with the defense expert on your panel, Major Sivach, when he said that look at the way you've had from a 15% to an 18% increase in not just their population, but also in terms of opportunities of education, security and stability. That has been the goal of this government. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas, Sabka Vishwas. Now, who are the voices who are echoing this kind of anarchy or these kind of escalation of trying to destabilize India? You have Salman Khurshid on one side, you have the AAP party on the other, and you have Mehbooba Mufti for reasons best known to them. Let's understand, the opposition is guilty of spreading this kind of anarchy, and a political turmoil in Dhaka does not mean a political turmoil in India. It is imperative for us to stand united and in solidarity, because this resilience of this country is something that needs to be applauded.
Kamru Chaudhary, you know, the book launch at which Salman Khursheed was talking was, of course, a book based on the political future of Indian Muslims. And having said that, there was also a focus on Kashmir. Whenever Kashmir comes into the picture, there are no questions raised against the role of Pakistan or the way ISI has been fostering tensions, fresh tensions that we've been seeing in Jammu, especially. Instead of focusing on the role that's being played, as far as Pakistan playing its own role of giving refuge to all those terrorists is concerned and orchestrating these attacks in the Jammu region, why attack India and the abrogation of Article 370?
No, yeah, I believe you have gone through the entire text of what Salmanji has said in that book launch. He said, he cited the example of misguided youths in India. He cited the example of Kashmir, and he said that how people in Kashmir turned against the state, how they took up arms, how they were misguided. Rather, he didn't say that, but he was misguided by, let's say, the elements from across the border. That was his statement.
All right, you clarified the statement. I'd like to, in fact, now close with thoughts of Major General Sivach. Major General Sivach, the fact of the matter is that in no way India is close to Bangladesh. Perhaps in days from now, we can expect India to, in fact, extend a hand as far as a helping hand is concerned to Bangladesh. I'm sorry, I'm running short of time. I'll have to close the debate over there. Many thanks to you all for watching Plain Speak. It's a quick wrap from my end.